everyone. So it has been a long time again and I'm very sorry for that, but I've just been living my life, you know. I'm a working woman now and I have a proper job for the summer. So I have an internship for the summer. I'm a digital content writer for a magazine and it's great and it's something that I want to do in the future and it's gonna look really good on my CV. But it's got me thinking about my previous jobs and how bad they were. So I'm going to do a little story time video about the worst job I ever had. So this was my first job ever. I was 17 when I got the job and it was in a department store which I will not name because I don't want anyone to sue me. But I worked in the clothes department for about 3 months over Christmas and I really loved it, and then I got moved down to the food hall, aka the deepest depths of hell. The department had about 8 managers and all of them had different ways of how the shop should run, and so you had to see who was working and you're like, okay, this is how today's gonna go. The first manager we all called the Dragon for reasons that you will understand right now. So the Dragon was such a job's worth. She literally thought that she was like the Queen's PA. She took her job so seriously. She did everything by the book and more. So I used to do a lot of the date checking, which is when you go around the shop and check all the dates of each food item to make sure that they're not out of date, which is as fun as it sounds. And she used to go around after me to make sure that I'd not missed anything. Well, turns out one day I did. So out of the 1,000 food items in the shop, you're bound to miss one every once in a while, and most managers weren't bothered by that, but the Dragon was. So I accidentally missed, wait for it, an orange juice. She called me over, she said to me,
"Do you know that you've missed an orange juice on the date check?"
And I went, well, no, but I'm sorry, you know, it's quite a lot of things to be looking at. And she was like,
"I don't think you realise how serious this is. You could have killed a customer."
Alright, hun, I think you need to just take a step back and breathe because you're being a little over dramatic. She was like,
"No, you could have gone to prison for second-degree murder. Yep, manslaughter. You could have been in prison. You could have chucked your whole life away for the death of a customer because you missed an orange juice."
I thought she was joking. I started laughing. She wasn't joking. And from that moment on, she hated me, absolutely hated me. She used to crawl behind the till that I was on to make sure I was saying the right thing to the customers, which obviously I wasn't according to her, because she called me into her office and she said to me,
"You failed your till test."
I said, "What's a till test?" And she's like,
"It's a test I did on you. I was actually behind your till listening to every word you were saying and you failed it."
And I went, okay then, what did I fail on? She went,
"You didn't ask the customer how the weather was outside."
Since when is it compulsory to ask a customer how the weather is outside? And may I just mention that I was stood in front of a window. Sorry about the lighting, guys, but I'm going to carry on because it's 11 o'clock in the night and I can't be able to wait for my light to charge. Anyway, so as I was saying, she told me off for not asking a customer what the weather was like when I was stood in front of a window. So now you probably get the gist of her. Let's move on to another manager. So I don't remember any of their names. So this was an older woman and she called me into the office one day after I'd been sick. I had a day off for work because I was ill, which as far as I know you are actually allowed to do. It is part of, you know, human rights. You shouldn't be forced to go into work when you're throwing up and you've got a sore throat and you're being sick. Anyway, I turned up after my day off and I had to go for a back to work interview, and she said to me,
"You do realise that you've been off sick twice in 3 months?"
I said, yes. I do get ill during the winter. It is January and it is freezing and I am at college where I meet about 50 people a day. And she goes,
yes, but you have had a sore throat twice in 3 months.
And I said, yes, people tend to get similar symptoms when they get ill. And for me, I tend to get a sore throat. That's the first thing that I get when I'm going to get ill. I get a really terrible sore throat. And that's just the way of life. And she was like,
well, you're not allowed to be ill again for a year.
I was like, okay, well, don't tell me that. Tell it to my immune system, okay? Because I have no control over whether I get ill or not. And if I'm going to get ill, you want me to come in throwing up on the customers? I don't know. You tell me. But of course I was like a shy 17-year-old. I was like, I'm so sorry. I will never be ill again. Please forgive me. Next manager. This manager turned up in the middle of nowhere. She was like a supply manager, like a supply teacher but manager version. And she was evil. So I used to stay behind for an hour after my shift, after the shop shut, to put out stock. And I got put on drinks the night that this manager was in, and for drinks it's very, very heavy lifting and it's a very slow process. You can't put drinks out as fast as you can put out crisps, for example. You have to take the box down and then open the box and then put the bottles up one by one, these big wine bottles and these big like lemonade bottles like that. And so I didn't get it all done in an hour because I had this whole cage full of drinks, probably like maybe like 50, 60 boxes of drinks I had to open and put out one by one. Anyway, she comes up to me and she's like,
why haven't you finished putting the drinks out?
and I said, oh, I've run out of time. She goes,
why didn't you ask anyone to help you?
and I said, oh, the other manager doesn't let us help each other because we all get timed on how fast we put the stock out, so I didn't ask anyone. And she goes,
that's not how it works with me.
and I was like, okay, I'm really sorry, but like, it is 9 o'clock, my shift has ended. And she goes,
no, you need to put all these drinks out first.
and as she said this, she grabbed the cage full of drinks and she threw it at me. She sort of pushed her whole body weight against it, and I just saw this cage full of drinks zooming at my little tiny 17-year-old body, and I was like, well, I'm dead. And sadly I didn't get injured because I could have got a lot of compensation, but I had to jump out of the way. I did have enough time to jump out of the way, and the cage slammed into the rack of drinks that I'd spent the last hour tidying up and making it all look lovely, and knocked all the drinks off. So good for her. And I started crying. And it was probably the day that I realised that this job was not for me. But there was one more manager that I had to contend with before I left that horrible shop. This woman was in her 30s and she was always pregnant. Like, I was there for nearly 2 years and I'm pretty sure she was pregnant all the time. So I don't know whether she popped one baby out and got another one in, or whether she's like an elephant and has a pregnancy that lasts for 2 years. But she was always pregnant. And because I was under 18, when I worked on the tills, I wasn't allowed to sell alcohol to people without getting my manager's permission. So we used to have these little bells on the till that you'd press to try and get the manager's attention. And it usually worked, except for her, because she once again did not like me for reasons I can't explain. She used to ignore the bell, and I knew she could hear it because she was right next to me. Literally 5 feet away, and everybody else in the shop, the customers, the people that I worked with, would all be looking at me like, sorry, I can't help you, there's nothing I can do, except for her. She was just facing the wall. So one day she was doing this usual thing of ignoring me when I was pleading for help, and the guy that I was serving, he was an elderly guy, probably in his 70s, he said to me, is she always like this? And I said, yep. She doesn't like me, so she ignores me. So he walked over to her, tapped her on the shoulder and went, "Excuse me, would you like to tell me why you're ignoring this young girl's pleas for help?" She goes,
"I'm sorry, I didn't hear."
and he was like, "Don't lie to me. Everybody in this shop can hear. You're ignoring her for no reason. You shouldn't treat your employees like that. It's disgusting." I could have married him there and then. I really could. But I didn't, obviously. Haven't got a ring. But that certainly put her in her place and she never ignored me again. So thank you, sir. That's just a few stories from that workplace. I have so many more. So if you want a part 2 of this video where my light doesn't turn off halfway through, then let me know in the comments. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you are having a lovely summer. We are having a lovely summer in England. It is absolutely boiling hot. It has been sunny for about 3 months, which apparently is what summer is meant to be like, but none of us are coping because we are built for Arctic weather. So pray for me. But I will hopefully make a video soon, but I'm super busy, like I work full time and it's going good and I'm having a good summer. So yes, I hope you're all doing well too, and leave a comment and I will say hello. So thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and I will see you very soon. Bye!